Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
See me shine, 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 walking on beams of light, 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 light.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome back here to the Back Nine, brought to you by Wohali Sports. Joined here by my co-host, Daniel Creel and Jason Vaughn. Jason feeling really good today, breaking out the Jordans for today's show.
Yeah.
Can't miss those things from a mile away, Daniel.
No, you can't. I was just hoping he had pink to match his shirt. But
Yeah.
Chicago red, that's all right.
Yeah.
Patent leather red.
Well, guys, we've been talking about the takeaway here the last couple weeks. Now you guys are going to focus on the follow-through tonight and a few key things here that can help people really improve their swing and improve their distance.
Yeah, so, we've been talking about the backswing. As you know, if you've tuned in, probably the last 3 weeks we've been on the backswing, which, again, if you watch it, you understand the importance of it and why we focus on it so much, because it sets us up for a successful downswing. I call it playing offense or defense on the downswing. And most of us, unfortunately, are playing defense. We're trying to recover from bad positions. So our view on it here is if we clean up the backswing, we clean up the follow-through, more than likely everything in between is going to be really good, because that's where everybody focuses on the downswing, where everything's happening really fast, and the conscious mind can't really influence the reflex or the neurological signals being sent from the brain. It's a habit. It's a reflex. Mm-hmm. And when that's happening that fast, you can't really force anything, and if you are forcing it and feel something different, usually you're applying those forces incorrectly. So again, we focus on backswing, follow-through. We see the end result. Once we get you here and here, backswing, follow-through, we look at everything else, and then we fine-tune it.
I think what we've kind of decided to go through today is to move from the backswing or the takeaway and kind of start moving a little bit into the follow through. Mm-hmm. And a couple different things that we had talked about coming into the show. What were we going to talk about? And had a couple students this week that came in that were what we call in the follow through, they were exiting to the right mm-hmm. or exiting to the left. Which one is good? Which one is not good? Which one's correct? Which one's incorrect? Which one causes more issues? Because when I was growing up, I don't know if you were kind of taught the same thing, is everybody wanted me to hit a big draw. They wanted me to hit a big hook almost, just to the right. Exit to, in between first base and second base. If you're looking at a baseball field, second base is right up the middle, first base is to the right. So they wanted me to exit out to the right, and exiting out to the right should produce more of an in to out path. The thing about it is what a lot of people don't understand is if you get too far to the right, it can cause just as much issues as swinging too far to the left.
Yeah, so we like to quantify things here. We use launch monitors, and what we can see is what your club path is. And a club path is a snapshot of what is going on at impact only. So a lot of people think that club path is measured from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock, and it's that whole downward part, that 36 to 48 right. inches. But really all it is where that club is traveling at impact only. But it gives us a good indication of what's going on. We do have parameters we call swing direction, right. or is it horizontal plane?
Horizontal plane.
Horizontal plane is one of them. I think that Flight Scope uses, TrackMan uses swing direction. That gives us that whole overview of 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So the problem I have with people swinging, nobody really taught me the follow-through growing up.
Really?
It was like no man's land. Nobody even approached it, because who wants to talk about follow-through? Let's talk about how we're going to hit everything before the ball.
Correct.
Which what I've learned really is the hardest way of teaching. I think easiest is, hey, if I can get you in a position here, that means everything right here at the impact zone had to be relatively okay.
Right.
And nobody ever said that, but they did say swing out to right field. And to swing out to right field, you have to start changing stuff up here in the transition, and basically the club starts really close to the body, crowded, and then it gets further and further. And what I mean is your hands get further and further away, and I'm just going to demonstrate so our viewers can kind of look at what's going on. Do we have that camera there? So what I'm going to do is turn this way. I'm going to pretend that this is the arc, and I'm hitting towards Jason. A proper arc, a perfect arc, would be basically right in the center of my stance. The club would be at the furthest point away. Well, if I'm swinging out to right field, now my arc turns like that, doesn't it, Jason? So
That's
I'm still
right.
lining out this way, but I have to come more inside. And as you notice, my hands are getting further away from the body. And here's one of the interesting things that we see from people that have this issue. Do you see a lot of toe strikes or heel strikes?
I see a lot of heel strikes.
Heel strikes. And the reason why we see heel strikes and shanks is because when the club is going away from the body, you're actually pushing the hosel towards the ball. People don't really think about simple things like that. Why am I shanking it? Why am I shanking it? So one of the reasons why the shanks have such a bad rap is people think that they're swinging over the top, and what they do is they try to swing more and more outside, which causes them to shut the face greater and greater, and the shanks get worse because they're just introducing the hosel more and more, and then when the face is closed, it actually traps the ball in the corner of the club, and we just start hitting shanks. So little preview, and maybe that'll help you if you do suffer from the shanks.
Yes, and 100%. And so I think it was Hogan that said if you're hitting a shank, you are pretty close to swinging on the path that you should be. Don't go to change it like swinging more out to the right. So what he was saying is that shank, like you said, is caused by a slight in to out and your arms moving closer to the ball. So that means your path coming in is pretty good. We just need to work on the exit path and make sure that your finish is better. So
yeah, we got to remember that, think about it, your arms are connected to your body, so that creates, if you just rotate, we should create like a perfect circle around us, right? If we continue to work around us, because again, you're in the center of the circle, your arms are drawing the perimeter of the circle. So there shouldn't really be much of a straight line in the path, in my opinion.
Correct.
It should constantly go around. And what you're doing when you necessarily try to swing out to right field is you're forcing straight lines, and you're going against the grain of what the natural swing should be. And you got to remember, if you think of a figure skater, when they tuck their hands in, when they get closer to their body, they spin faster. So if you have rotation issues, you hear your buddies or another instructor saying, hey, you got poor rotation, bad upper body rotation, lower body rotation. It's probably because you're trying to force your hands out away from you, which actually won't allow your body to turn and go around like it naturally should.
So I'm going to show you one of my students. He came in and we were working on, he came in, the first thing he said right out of the bat is, what we worked on last week has helped me in my backswing, things like that. He said, but I'm having trouble with the ball starting out either straight or starting out left and then moving more left. So it was, i.e., it was a straight, like a straight draw or a pull draw. And so right in my brain, the first thing I think before I even see him on video is, okay, we're back to swinging out to the right. After we had corrected it back in, a while back, what we had changed in the backswing was making him either, he was thinking he needed to swing out to the right to make it go straight, or like you said, a lot of people will feel like they have to extend out this way or extend out to the right or extend too far down the line to try to get the ball to go relatively straight, and they don't.
Let's go back to the original thing you said about the student. So you said that his ball was going left and then continuing to go left.
That's right.
So this is something you really need to pay attention to if you watch anything of this segment. Pay attention to this, is the perception here is that golfer, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, he probably thought that he was swinging too far left, over the top, because the ball was going, when he looked up at the shot, the ball was left of the target and continued to go left. So the brain instantly is like, I must be getting steep.
That's right.
So if you're thinking you're getting steep and over the top, your natural reaction to that is, I need to swing further inside out or to that second base, first base line. So this golfer probably reacted to that and is like, well, if I'm hitting it left, I need to swing right. Makes sense, correct? What you've got to understand is the path is not what influences the start direction of the golf ball. It influences what, 20%?
Maybe.
So the lower the loft the less that it influences. So the path is the least amount of influencer on start direction and where the ball goes. It's the club face. So what was happening to this golfer is his club face was shut too much, and as he swung out to the right, he had to shut it even more, so he was just making the problem way worse. And this is what I see with a lot of my pull golfers. They're way inside, and they're shocked when they come in here.
That's right.
Because they don't realize it's the face. It's not the path.
Correct. And I mean, I think
I used to think it was path growing up.
Correct. I did too. And until I got, it was in college, I got with an instructor that was kind of showed me, and he had started with a little smaller monitor, a little one that sat beside that was not as nice as the ones we have now because technology hadn't moved that far along. But I always thought too, if I hit it left, I pulled it. I came over the top, you know. And so now we're going to change the path, like you said, and it ends up making it either worse or, you know, I end up going too far the wrong direction. And so that's where, like you said, face dictates where the ball starts. And a lot of people don't understand that. They think, all right, I hit it straight and it faded off, or straight and it hooked. My path did all that, you know. And I think it's important for you to know that if you can figure that out and use it in practice, club face, start, and then path is going to dictate most of the curve. And that will help you when you're out hitting balls, so you don't overcorrect something the wrong direction and make it worse. So if we want to, can we pull up this computer screen? Okay. So when he came in that day, over on the right screen, I'm going to run this video as we're going back. So in the backswing, we had worked a little bit on his takeaway. He was really inside. Just a little bit of an exaggeration on the takeaway with his club outside his hands. But I'd much rather see that than him way, way inside. And then as we start into the downswing, we'll notice the club is coming inside, and then he's going to automatically swing it out to the right. So if we draw a straight line through the golf ball, 90 degree, right there, then I'm going to come back to impact and draw a line for his shaft angle going up through his body. As he starts back, his hands are on there, hand path is decent, club's outside, a little across the line. But as we start down, like I said, when he started the lesson, he was saying, I'm hitting it left, you know, it's starting left and then going further left. And so as Daniel was talking about, as this club starts to come in, he gets close to back on his shaft plane at the bottom. But right here, as we come into impact, as you can see from there, his club face, like Daniel said, he has closed it, which you said it would close more, start closing it more. And his path is going out to the right through the impact zone. So it's from in to out. And then he has a really extended finish. As you can see, most people that swing in to out or too far to the right have a very, very high finish over their head, you know, straight up and down, where the right arm is almost straight up, parallel, you know, very vertical on their finish.
So draw a line with his shoulders. So connect shoulder to shoulder. No, go back to where you were. So right in here, right there. So draw a line, connect the shoulders, a long line. And again, go ahead, keep going. I mean, it's fine. Keep rotating through. So the shoulder line, this is going to kind of show a side bend, and you can see how his lead arm, no, not that far. So you can see how his lead arm, go ahead and stop. So if you draw a line on the lead arm, draw a different color on that.
Okay.
Connect it to the bottom yellow. So the idea and what Jason's talking about here, where they're real vertical and extended through, is the greater the angle. So if you can draw in between there. No, grab that pencil there and just kind of connect these two. So the angle created between the shoulder and the lead arm, or actually the trail arm, is what Jason's talking about, where he's really extended. And that just gives you a good visual if you were getting kind of confused on what we were talking about there. So what we're trying to do is create a smaller angle there where he's created, if you can see that triangle on that screen.
Yeah, the goal, and so as we continue through the lesson, we worked on trying to get the exit a little bit more to the left. As you can see over in the left side, we used a noodle, and I gave him a little more room than I normally would, just because we were started working the noodle throughout the lesson. We moved it closer and closer.
So they can't really see it there. Can you describe how you set up the noodle and
Yep.
what you're doing there?
So I put the noodle, we have a little thing there. It's an alignment rod stuck in it's a little plate at the bottom. You put the alignment rod in there and put a noodle over it. So you set the angle with your shaft angle, okay? And I set this one up about 18 inches outside the golf ball, okay? So it gives him some room to swing under it, underneath the noodle, but it should force him as he's coming down to not swing as much out to the right. So
let me ask you this. So if you're talking, when you talk to him, how did you gauge a successful? So we know what the issue is on the right. So how did you gauge what was successful and what he should feel here, like on the screen?
Okay, so two things that I want to see is, number one is on his, after impact, I wanted to have his left arm or his hands be a little bit closer to his left leg. So successful would be a lower finish. So I wanted more across his chest with his right arm. So
where should the hands exit on him if you're looking, just something, a quick reference when he can gauge?
The hands should exit around and kind of along, literally I wanted him to feel like the butt of the club because I wanted him to be exaggerated. I wanted the butt of the club to almost feel like it was going to hit his left leg.
Okay, so is this here, the one that he's doing here, is he getting closer to where he should be?
He's getting closer to where he should be, so his hands are closer to his shaft plane.
Okay.
So they're lowered down. Now, later on in the lesson, he got it on down to almost on that line, and his arms were able to. So if we go to a finish, see how his right arm here is getting the gap here, like what you said with his shoulders. Let's go back a little bit. We'll draw another line. Let's erase that one. So the line here on his right arm, between that and his, like you said, between his shoulder plane and his right arm was starting to lower instead of it being so vertical. So the goal was to try to get two things. I wanted his hands to get closer to his left leg coming through impact, and then I wanted his right arm to come a little bit lower and a little more across his chest.
Awesome.
And so when he did that, we saw a little bit more of a lower left exit. And the ball actually started having a little bit of fade, starting a lot straighter, and so it was a very successful lesson.
Good.
All right, well, guys, we'll finish the rest of this conversation when we come back here on the Back Nine, brought to you by Wohali Sports.
Hi, my name is Asha. I go to Lawrenceburg Technical College, and I moved here a year ago from California. I wanted to be a cosmetologist and study hair, nails, and makeup. You should come join us at Lawrenceburg Technical College and learn all about cosmetology.
There are now more ways to save at Quick Mart. Become a Quick Club member and easily earn rewards on qualifying purchases at Quick Mart convenience stores using the Quick Club app, available in the Apple App Store and Google Play. To save on fuel for work, use the Fuel Rewards Pro app to earn 5 cents a gallon on work fill-ups and redeem the savings for yourself. To get started, visit fuelrewards.com/pro or download the app in the Apple App Store and Google Play.
Like you, our roots are in Lawrence County, providing banking for every stage of life since 1934. Lawrenceburg Federal Bank has been not just your bank, but also your friend, helping you with home loans, consumer and auto loans, and your everyday personal banking needs. Lawrenceburg Federal offers you a warm smile and personal experience, as well as the conveniences of modern-day telebanking. Lawrenceburg Federal Bank, your neighbor and friend, located at 118 West Gain Street next to the courthouse.
Are you looking for the perfect refrigerator? What about a new stove or washer or dryer? It only makes sense to shop at the one place that specializes in appliances, top to bottom, big or small. And that's Kelly Appliance in Lawrenceburg. Kelly Appliance is home to all major name brands, including LG. LG makes life good with a full selection of refrigerators, cooking appliances, dishwashers, microwaves, and more, including appliances made right here in Tennessee. Family owned and family operated. Stop by Kelly Appliance on Jerry Street in Lawrenceburg today.
Flooring sets the tone throughout your home.
For flooring that makes the right first impression, start by choosing us, Floored by Justin.
A one-stop flooring destination. Our new location stands alone for unequaled customer service and selection. Owner Justin Story's mastery of custom hardwood inlays means every room can have a custom look. Discover how the right choice of hardwood, laminate, carpet, or tile can set the tone in your home. Contact Floored by Justin today.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And back here at the back nine, brought to you by Wohali Sports. Daniel is ready to go to show you what we're talking about when exiting left and exiting right. And all right, we got our first toy of the day. So we already used the one already, but we've got this one.
So
The semicircle.
down the other, we cut basically a circle in half, and we were just using that to kind of visualize what the arc, and we need a continuous circle going around us. So this is what Jason was using on his students. So basically all he was doing was putting that, and you said roughly 18 inches in front of the golfer. And the key is, if you're looking down that camera, we want this noodle kind of running through this shoulder here. And what that's going to allow is going to force me to exit with my hands. If you're watching my hands here, what your golfer was doing, your student, was getting here, and he was going in a straight line and creating and going up here. And it caused him to get this high finish. And what we want to do is get the hands to exit lower around the belt area, belly button area, and it's going to look something like this. And you're going to finish lower. So again, really good training aid. All you got to do is set a noodle up around 60 degrees to the ground, put it about 18 inches away from you, and I would recommend probably 2 feet in front of you. And just make sure that it's running through that shoulder line. So I'm going to show you some of the things to watch out for when you're trying to swing to the left. So a lot of people can do it. We already have rotation issues in most golfers, right?
Correct.
So when we try to introduce a new feeling or a new move, we try to do it probably in the wrong type of way. So we're going to look at the golfer on the right here. So as this gentleman's coming down, you can see that his shoulders are closed to the target, his hips haven't rotated much, and he's swinging to the left. If we're talking about, hey, swinging to the left, this guy's doing it, but he's doing it a little bit incorrectly, and it's not very efficient. And you can see, I want you to start noticing this elbow and this elbow, they're on opposite sides of his body, which means that the arms have now separated. They've gotten further apart from each other, and the reason that happens is lack of rotation. So he is swinging left, but he's doing it with a chicken wing. Right. And I'm going to continue going with this, and you will see that. Look at how he's pulling in, and you can see this left elbow is just really, really poking out to the side. So what we want to see, and this is just a clip of me swinging, and I'm just going to go through the impact zone, and you can see my hands as they exit the body. And what I want you to pay attention to is the last time you see my non-glove hand here. I'm going to delete that, and we're going to continue to go through, and you can see if the hands disappear on the lower portion of the body, that means you're definitely rotating around you and swinging left, which means that you're going to be way faster through the impact zone, and you don't have to use your wrist to square the club. And that's where people get fearful, is if I swing left, I'm going to hook the snot out of it. Well, you probably will, because you've swung so far right for so long, you've had to learn how to close the club. Does that make sense? So if I start getting you to swing left, you're still going to be closing the club, and you're going to hit it left. But over time, you'll learn how not to close the face, and we got tips for that too. So swinging to the left, and this is what I want you to look for, is this finish. And I'm going to draw that line that Jason was drawing earlier from shoulder to shoulder, and then I'm going to draw a different one in green with my lead arm, and you can see how they're really nice and even with each other. And I want you to pay attention to the sunlight in between the two forearms. It should be fairly tight there. If you see a big gap in it, which this gentleman, he just doesn't have a... Yeah, well, if he were to continue up, he would have a larger gap there, but the thing is he didn't rotate through the shot, so you can't really see it. And I'm going to show you just one common thing, and I try to look at common things with tour players. What they all do very similar, and their follow-throughs all look similar to what we're seeing with me there. You can see that we're on different shoulder planes here. If you look at the line shoulder to shoulder, see how his shoulders are tilted a little bit more than mine?
And that's at 50 degrees, and yours said 23.
So, but look at the lead
his
arm,
right
or the
arm.
trail arm, and the shoulders are really close. It's not really vertical like the golfer, the student that Jason was showing. And if we didn't see it on there, you can see my hands exit my body. I always like to get a golfer when they exit correctly. I'm going to be like, hey, you exited right here.
Yeah.
Previously, the club was disappearing underneath your chin. So we've actually lowered the club, and we've rotated through, and we've exited properly. So again, when we say we want a left exit, you're really just on plane.
Yeah.
You're going to feel left because you've always tried to reach out as far as you can. This is not only going to help square the face a little bit more efficiently because you're actually going to have to eliminate the wrist square. You can square it more with your body. You're going to be faster, and you're just going to hit a straighter ball altogether.
Much more solid.
And another thing I noticed with the previous golfer, the other gentleman is, and compared to you and the Tour Pro here, as you look at his feet placement, your back foot is ahead of your front foot. His front foot was ahead of his back foot.
So he was lined up close.
So,
he's lined up close.
That's
There's
a big
no
thing.
hip turn. All I'm thinking is, man, that's
It's-
a back injury waiting to happen. If he
It is
doesn't
so
have
hard. It is really tough to, if you have your setup that way, to not. It's really hard to come when you're coming into impact to get your hips to move like they should and your
Right.
shoulders to move like
Yeah.
they should.
And it's not exaggerated. I mean, you're what? Maybe
Just a few
couple
degrees open.
toes. Couple
And so,
toes ahead of your front of your back foot.
Just trying to find him, but yes. So basically, and this is just to put it in quantifiable terms, and is your average good ball striker or professional golfer, high play and amateur, is going to be around 6 to 8 degrees open with their feet and shoulders.
Yeah.
Their hips, shoulders, and feet. What that allows them to do is to rotate and exit low in the left, but the thing is they have enough hand control that the hands just, I call it staying numb. They just kind of flow with the body. They don't get involved too much, where most of our amateur golfers that come through here will line up way to the right because they want to hit this awesome big high hook in their mind, so they line up to the right and they flip the wrist. And you're exactly right on that. That other golfer is what he was doing, was lining up to the right, and all that's doing is working against the end goal.
Yeah.
I think logically a lot of people assume that and think that, but it's just making golf way harder than it should be.
And you guys mentioned when you're talking about bringing your swing through, that you need to have your impact below your waistline. And a lot of golfers, myself included, think because, well, we want to elevate this, we need to have the impact like up here and then finish up high, when in all reality, like you mentioned on your swing there, your impact is well below your waist, and that's where the perfect spot needs to be.
It is. The key to doing this is there's several things that have to be right. So the one thing that I showed you with my student was he was exiting left, but he was doing it with his arms. He didn't rotate.
Right.
We've got to learn how to extend away from the body, which requires rotation. If you just bring those arms in like this and separate, you're not rotating. And here's a really good drill. This is just a PVC pipe, and the thing is I have it leading on my lead edge or on my lead side. And what this does is if I use too much arms and flip, the PVC pipe's going to hit my side, and I don't want to hurt myself.
Right.
So what it's doing is essentially making me rotate. And you can see in this position here, I'm coming through, and you can see good position, low hands through the impact zone, and notice how my whole body is turning through. And it's because I don't want to hit myself with the PVC pipe. And you can see where my hands exit at, right at my waistline. And again, my forgiveness areas, it doesn't have to be, you don't see many below the waistline, but around the waistline to below the chest. If it starts getting up into the chest, that means that you're probably swinging too in line or up to that second baseline, first baseline. And we want it going more so the hands traveling, between second and third?
Second and third, below the belly button.
And you can see this drill. Look at how my trail arm is below my shoulders. That's because it's an exaggerated feel, and this is what I did. I did this drill, no kidding, for over 13 or 14 months. And I would actually stick a rod in my club and mix this drill with that. And I used to be really out to first base because that's kind of what I was taught, to hit that draw. And I didn't realize I could swing left and still hit a draw. I can hit a push draw all day long. There's nothing wrong with swinging left. You're not automatically going to be a fader of the ball. So this drill really, really helped me. And you can see how tight this gap is between my forearms here, and that's what we're really looking for. So rotation and low hands is really kind of at the end of the day what we're looking for.
You're correct.
All right, well, awesome, guys. Well, coming up next here on the Back Nine, we'll go to the mailbag. As I ask the guys a couple of questions on my mind here next on the Back Nine, brought to you by Wohali Sports.
For the best at-home care in Lawrence County, the Summit at Home is the right company for you. We have a friendly staff over 25 that is trained, educated, and qualified to help with all your needs within your household. Our non-medical services include transportation, housework, dressing, and companionship. We are also covered by most long-term care providers. For more information, please call 931-762-2310.
Whether you're shopping in Lawrenceburg, Loretto, Summertown, or Mount Pleasant, Tegan's Food Stores has you covered with the best quality food at the best prices. From Cash Saver to Superama and CB Foods, stop by your neighborhood Tegan's Food Store today.
Employee Resources Credit Union is an easy solution to banking, offering a personal, simple, yet modern way to bank. When you bank with ERCU, you are a shareholder, meaning you own a piece of the pie. And we make it easy with the convenience of digital banking, with service you won't find at another financial institution, including low to zero fees and incredible rates. We have the technology you need with the personal service you deserve, right here in your own neighborhood. Employee Resources Credit Union, not for profit, for service.
Are you looking for a non-factory job environment? Livingstone Freight Solutions is a 3PL company that began managing warehouses in Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. With our multiple shifts and experienced management team, our goal is to give you as an employee a safe family work environment and competitive wages. We offer a wide variety of employment opportunities from forklift drivers to management level positions. We also strive to offer a competitive benefit package and PTO options. For more information or to apply, visit us at livingstonefs.com or give us a call at 931-269-3255.
You're gonna see me shine, 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 walking on beams of light, 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 light.
AJ Good goes the distance for local sports on the X Sports Network.
And welcome back to the Back Nine, brought to you by Wohali Sports. Time to get into the mailbag. And guys, there's a couple things that I noticed that some of my golfing buddies in the media world talked about. First thing, green etiquette. There was a picture of someone from the Solheim Cup, and Daniel sort of explained it to me what she was doing. But she was standing right on top of the cup before her putt. So upset a lot of people, like, because obviously with the spikes and all the stuff that she's wearing, that she could be marking up stuff right around the hole, not just for her playing partner, but for other people coming after that. So what's good, acceptable green behavior? What's bad green behavior?
So first and foremost, in my opinion, is fixing ball marks,
Please,
and not dragging your feet. Actually, I got dragging feet. Not knocking the sand off your feet if you're coming out of a bunker, which is a big issue. You know, they walk up to they mark their ball, they hit a great bunker shot their foot, but yet we can see every footprint of sand all the way up there. So always clean your feet before you get on the green. I mean, it's like walking into your house. You would never do that in your house. I hope not.
Wouldn't walk in with
and your mom didn't teach you to drag your feet through the house, because then you're getting black marks on the floor, right? So treat it like your house. The greens, they pay a lot of money to do that, and plus you probably paid a lot of money to be on the course, right? So take care of it. We give the superintendents a hard time. I know I do.
Sure.
But again, they need our help to take care of the course. But around the green, I try to get out of people's line of sight. So so if I'm putting towards the camera, I'm not going to stand on the other side of the camera. So when I look, I see a golfer sitting there leaning on their putter, scratching their face, whatever. So try to get out of their line of sight. So directly behind them, directly in front of them. I try to get it just out of sight as much as possible. If you're trying to see a line of a putt, after they hit it, you can run around them and look at it, But as far as walking you try not to damage the hole. I mean, you don't want to walk more than what's necessary. And the whole trend these days is this aim point.
Correct.
Which means these golfers are getting and they're straddling their line. They're standing on the right and the left of their line. And they're basically closing their eyes and they're trying to feel. They can feel with their feet. I can't do it. Honestly, I can't do it. But they try to see if one foot's higher than the other.
And so you're correct. And then before that, they've brought out a leveler to their practice round, and they're actually, so the way that they start to learn how they can see, between 1 to 4 degrees is they actually put a leveler down the green, then they stand up there so they start to quantify what feels like 1, 2, 3, or 4. So it is a huge process, and like you said, I can stand there and feel that my right foot is higher than my left foot, but okay, great, that helps me know that the ball goes right to left. But I really need to go back and, I apex putt. So I'll find the apex of the putt and then knock it in the hole that way, kind of read it that way. The aim point, I think, is just really, it's tough to do. Yeah. And it makes sense that if you've got to have it down to exact science, or, it's not as much good as just telling you it breaks right to left or right.
Yeah, so they look at degrees, and what they're doing is they're trying to quantify, is it 1 degree, 2 degrees, 3 degree, or 4 degrees. And what they've done is, yes, they've trained on what it feels like to them, how they use their feet. Then they walk back to their putt, and they'll use their fingers. And if they felt that it was 2 degrees average all the way to the hole, they know that they can hang up 2 fingers, 1 finger. I really don't know the science behind it, but say, this one's going 2 degrees. I've decided on it. I know for a fact I felt it. They're going to go behind. And the fingers between the hole and the ball is going to give them their apex to get in. So that's how they do it, is that picks out their apex. It picks out the spot that they hit to. And, again, it's strategizing, and it obviously works because a lot of great players are going to it. Right. And what this does is if they feel that and they know that it breaks a certain degree, the theory behind it is that they now have forgiveness. If they hit that exact spot, they can actually push it a ball or pull it a ball, and the ball will still go in the hole.
Yeah, some other things I've noticed is guys, I know it's taboo, guys don't like when other guys are reading their putts like while they're doing it, like standing behind, like you mentioned, like it's okay to kind of run around or walk briskly around to see how that's going. But I've seen in sort of, pro tournaments where guys catch other guys like kind of creeping up as they're getting ready to go into their backswing to see where that's coming in.
They do, and you try not to do that. I mean, respect the other players, make sure they're done with their stroke, and try to stay out of their way. I've seen golfers walk, so if I'm putting, they might walk in front of me to see the line, and I can't even see the putt, what it's doing, because I may miss it, and I need to see what the line's doing coming back, because if I blow it by the hole, I want to see which way it's breaking. So, and that's another thing with this aim point is these people are walking all around the cup. Yeah, you may not be stepping in somebody's line immediately, but you don't know where they're going to miss it, and then the golfer's behind you, so it just really beats up the greens.
Yeah, especially standing right on top of the hole. I can understand where that upsets people.
It does.
It eventually is going to mess up, like Daniel said, around the cup, and then your 2-footers are going to hop near the hole. They're going to go the wrong way. You're going to read it to break a certain way, and it's going to go towards a footprint, especially early in the morning if it's really wet. So one thing I was going to add to about fixing ball marks is I tell my junior students, adults as well, but juniors especially as they're coming up, fix yours and then fix 1 or 2 more. Mm-hmm. And if you do that, then usually the greens are going to be good for the other players. So fix your ball mark and then 2 others.
And if you're playing and you have access to sand, always fill divots in the fairways.
Sure.
Again, it doesn't, just because you didn't do it, it's kind of like my kids. I see juice cups everywhere, and they'll be like, hey, it's not mine. And I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. If you see it, you walked right by it, just pick it up. There is a proper way to fix a ball mark versus not. And you ever see a lot of ball marks that are fixed, but they're little brown indentions, and you got to keep redoing it. The idea is you got to be mindful on the ball mark. You don't want to rip the roots up, because if you rip the roots up, you're going to disconnect them and then create basically a crater into the green, and it's going to take twice as long to heal. Augusta has a nice video on YouTube, so go research that, how to fix a ball mark, type in Augusta, and they talk about a great way of doing it. And they actually stick a tee into the center of the ball mark and bore it out.
Oh, okay.
And then what they do is they go around the perimeter, poking it 6-7 times, and what they're doing is they're not pulling up and they're not pulling in. They're just pushing the dirt back towards the hole, and supposedly that's the least innovative way of doing it. The green heals back faster.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I can't say that for certain, but again, Augusta, they put a lot of pride in their greens. I would probably trust them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to watch one video to do it the right, pick the people that make their course the most beautiful. So, last one I have, guys, and I saw it was from the Solheim Cup, a individual who got what we know in sports is called the yips. She took 1 million practice swings, had something was going on mentally with her, and then she was a chip shot, and she ended up missing the green or short of the green by about 5 yards. So yips are a real thing. They happen in every sport. And how do you notice it as a golfer if you're doing it, and how do you kind of move on past that and correct it?
So during the round is pretty tough. You just got to be mentally strong. I mean, these players are great players. They practice a lot. You got to sit back and relax. Hey, I've done this 1 million times. It's just a bad shot, and brush it off. And if you can't do that, then the yips are a real thing. I was in an event Monday, and golf was easy that day. I was 6 under coming into my last 3 holes, and I missed the green, 10 feet left of the green, and it took me 3 tries to get it on the green. I did the exact same thing, and it cost me a double bogey. And I was like, what in the heck just happened? So, and I wouldn't quantify it as the yips. I think I can go out there and chip fine, but again, something happened. It was a mental mistake, and I couldn't get it on the green from right off the edge of the green, so I feel her pain. I think what quantifies the yips is something that goes on for a long, like Will Zalatoris, if you go back to his putting last year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's literally a foot away from the hole, and this guy's top 10 in the world, and he can't even take the putter back without it shaking and going figure eights before he hits it. That's the true yips.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley is the yips. He can do a practice swing, but when he goes, he just has
drops.
He can't make the movement. But again, the yips can be scary. They are a real thing, and you've got to, I think, get your mind right to keep away from it, because you don't want the true yips. I've never really had the true yips. I mean, I've struggled, but I don't think I've had the true yips. Have you?
No, but I have had the putting issue, and what I had to do is I ended up going. I used to putt just like the regular Tiger Woods, regular grip, and so I had to go to the claw. I could not. This right here, when I took the club back, boom, just like Zalatoris. I mean, and there's nothing. I tried. It was just like, to me, it was the thought of, I'm going to hit the putt too hard. I'm just so much thought into what the expectations or the outcome is going to be, instead of just getting up over it. If I would actually just clear, like they say, clear the mechanism. If I just clear my brain, take the putt back, and you get out of that. I think the yips happen because your thought about the outcome is so high that you're like, man, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to hit it, or I've got to hit this perfect or whatever. And it just makes it, like you said, you have to be mentally strong to get rid of the yips or to keep them from coming on.
And I think any caliber player, whether you're just a weekend warrior or you're an everyday golfer, we've all done the reps, and you just got to trust it, Right. Just don't let it get out of hand, and just keep in the present, and you should be fine. But yeah, the yips are scary.
Yeah.
If it's the chipping yips, I would say one last thing, and this is take the sand wedge out of your hand and put a 9-iron or a pitching wedge in your hand.
Good advice.
And what that does, it just makes it a little bit easier to hit the chip shot and start there, and then work your way back to the sand wedge.
And the reason why is the sand wedge has a lot of loft. Is the sweet spot runs away from you, right? It's harder to get to the sweet spot, if you add loft to the club, or if you got too much loft, the sweet spot goes away from you. If you add loft, it makes it easier to hit. And that's actually really good advice.
Yeah.
I'm already ahead of you. I don't know where my sand wedge is.
There you go. Just throw it away.
Well, coming up here, we're going to close out the show here on the Back Nine, brought to you by Wohali Sports.
This is Jason at Volco Auto Supply in Lawrenceburg. For over 90 years, Volco has been a family-owned company. We're proud of our past and excited about our future. We are open to the public for wholesale and retail trade. We carry product lines such as Milwaukee Tools, Lucas Oil, and Malco product. We carry all major brands of lubricants like Shell Rotella, Haviland, Castrol GTX, Mystic, Motorcraft, Valvoline, Kindle, and Mobil. We here at Volco offer a complete line of car detailing supplies, shop supplies, tire repair products, and lawnmower supplies. Check us out online at VolcoAutosupply.com or at 416 Buffalo Road here in Lawrenceburg.
Arctic Air keeps your home or business comfortable. For more than 20 years, we provided outstanding residential and commercial services through southern Middle Tennessee. Whether you need assistance with your heat, air conditioning, preventive maintenance, or anything in between, trust our reliable team to get the job done. We'll take the time to figure out your specific needs and recommend what we believe is right and best for your situation.
We've been using Arctic Air for over 15 years now. Their service is great. They're here when we need them, and their prices are competitive. They take the worry out of the heat and air, so I don't have to.
Arctic Air. When you need us, we'll be there.
Got a dent, a ding, a scratch, or a bent fender? Major or minor, Car Country Collision Center in Leoma can fix you up. Car Country works with all insurance carriers, gives free estimates, can work on foreign and domestic vehicles, and has experience you can trust. They've been in business since 1990. Unfortunately, accidents happen, but you can get your car back on the road with as little hassle as possible with the help of Car Country. Call 931-852-4708 or stop by at 2567 Highway 43 South in Leoma.
What really matters during the ball game, discipline is not a popular word in our culture today. Yet we understand in sports that it requires a great discipline to compete at a high level. In Proverbs 3, verses 11 and 12, "My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline or be weary of his reproof. For the Lord reproves him whom he loves, and as a father the son in whom he delights." Discipline is a good thing in all areas of life. Use it today and reap the rewards of it. And that message brought to you by your friends at the Leoma Church of Christ.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome back to the Back Nine, brought to you by Wohali Sports. Here, guys, as we close out the show, Jason, you got some good news this week. You found out when you can take a full swing off the new knee.
That's correct. Went back, knee is doing good, flex is doing good, starting to get healthy, stronger. He's told me about a month. November, he actually gave me a date, November the 13th. That's 3 months out from when I had surgery. He said, at this point now, I can start chipping, hitting some half shots, things like that. But the full swing, you put a lot more torque and a lot more pressure on your knees and a lot more rotation. So he wants me to stay away from that, you know, and I'm going to do. The last time I had knee surgery, I did not. I kind of did what I wanted to do, and we can see where that ended up. So I'm actually going to listen this time and do what he tells me to do. So that's probably a little smarter, isn't it?
Yeah, never too late to listen.
That's correct.
Never too late.
Especially to your orthopedic surgeon. So.
And Daniel, we know you've been busy, been playing a lot of tournaments. What's on the horizon for you?
Don't really know. I need to look at the schedule. So we're both members of the
team
PGA section, and basically we're towards the end of it. And I think there's only 2 more tournaments that have points in them, and what the points are is gives you either the head professional or assistant player of the year. And I joined the section just a month ago, so I haven't been playing very much, but I've had a first place, a second place, and a third place. I just won last week my first section event. That was fun, in a 4-hole playoff. But I've moved all the way up the board to 5th place. Now I've got to figure out how to get some more points.
Yeah.
Because they award the top 3
Okay.
in the section, and I think I might be able to chase that a little bit. So
no extra credit you can earn on the way up.
No,
there?
it's unfortunately it's not like high school. You get that extra credit or that bonus section, and like I wish I could just play extra holes and get more points, but it's not that. But there's only 2 more events. One of them is the section championship,
Yes,
which
it
is a
is.
big one. That one's worth 100 points, so that's a big mover there if you win. But you're playing a lot. The competition's stiff. I mean, we're also part of Florida's section as well, so it's North Florida,
Northwest Florida.
and Alabama. So you're playing against guys that can play all year round up in the coast and the Panhandle. And there's some
There's some
good
good
studs
golfers
out there that can play. And then we have one more one-day event in Montgomery. So those are the 2 that I'm going to go chase for. And the team event doesn't award points. But there is some nice cash available.
Yes, there
on
is.
that. So yeah, maybe 3 more events coming up.
Is that time of year things are kind of winding down here on the golf side of things?
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't like to see it that way. That's why we have an indoor facility.
That's right,
So
with heat and everything.
With heat, and we have the technology, we can comfortably hit all year round. So golf for us is year round, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out here when it's nice and cold.
Yes.
To test out those heaters.
Sure.
No kidding,
Whatnot,
right?
and practice the swing when you can't really get on the course. So.
I think me and Jason are looking forward to testing
I am
out those.
100% looking forward to it because we haven't had them.
Yeah, last winter they
It
weren't
was
quite
cold.
working and hooked up, and we had icicles on our beard. And so can't wait to get that running.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. Well, thanks to Jason Vaughn, Daniel Creer, for our producer Kevin Wright. I'm AJ Good here on the Back Nine. We'll see you guys next week.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.